Last Friday, one company quietly positions itself to control both sides of the AI model market. And nobody in your feed is explaining why. That's a problem. Now, you probably saw the headline Amazon invests 50 billion in OpenAI. And you thought, big number, big companies, doesn't affect me. That's the wrong instinct because this deal doesn't just move money around, it rewires how AI models get delivered to developers. And it creates something I'm calling the dual landlord problem. That 50 billion is part of a $110 billion round, the largest private financing in history. SoftBank put in 30 billion, Nvidia put in 30 billion, Amazon put in 50. But the money isn't the story. The structure of this deal is the story. And it starts with a problem Amazon has been trying to solve for 3 years. AWS is the biggest cloud provider on the planet. It's Amazon's profit engine. But in the AI model race, they've been losing. You'd think the biggest cloud would have the best AI. Instead, Microsoft locked down OpenAI in 2019, Google built Gemini into everything, and Amazon had Bedrock, a marketplace for other companies' models, and Nova. They're homegrown models that, let's be real, nobody is building a company on. They also invested 4 billion in Anthropic starting in 2023. They use Claude for Alexa Plus and their shopping assistant Rufus. But Anthropic has always had multiple partners. Amazon never got an exclusive. So here's what you do when you're the biggest cloud and you don't own the best models. You write the biggest check in private financing history and you buy your seat at the table. But there's a catch. Microsoft still holds the exclusive right to deliver traditional OpenAI API calls. That's in their contract. Amazon can't just slap GPT-5 on Bedrock and start selling. So they didn't try to compete with Microsoft's deal. They built around it. There are 4 pieces to this partnership and they all interlock. Piece 1, the money. Amazon puts in 50 billion starting with 15 billion this month and 35 billion more when conditions are met. Here's the detail from the SEC filings that everyone is glossing over. The investment and the partnership are contractually linked. The 35 billion dies if the collaboration agreement falls apart. Amazon isn't investing in a company, they're investing in a relationship. And this is where the dual landlord problem starts to take shape because Amazon already has billions invested in Anthropic too. More on that in a minute. But that's not even the most interesting piece of this deal. Piece 2, the stateful runtime environment. This is the big technical play. Amazon and OpenAI are co-building a new way to run AI models where the system maintains persistent context. It knows who's asking, what they asked before, what tools they connected to, what permissions they have. Think of it this way. Right now, most API calls are like texting a stranger every time you need help. A stateful runtime is like having a colleague who remembers your project, your preferences, and your last conversations. That sounds like a technical upgrade, but actually, it's a legal maneuver because this is technically a different product than a traditional API call. It doesn't violate Microsoft's exclusive. Amazon found the gap in that contract and drove $50 billion through it. Piece 3, OpenAI Frontier. This is a platform for developing and managing teams of AI agents at enterprise scale. AWS becomes the exclusive third-party cloud distributor. Buy Frontier through Amazon, it runs on Bedrock. Buy it through OpenAI directly, it runs on Azure. 2 front doors, 2 different stacks behind them. And piece 4, custom models. Amazon's internal teams get access to fine-tuned OpenAI models for their own consumer products. The next version of Alexa, the next version of Rufus, those are running on customized OpenAI models alongside Claude. To fuel all of this, OpenAI committed to consuming 2 gigawatts of Trainium chip capacity on AWS and expanded their cloud agreement by $100 billion over 8 years. That's not a partnership, that's a merger in everything but name. And this is where it gets really concerning for anyone building on these platforms. Right now, you're thinking, okay, big deal between big companies. What does this change for me if I'm an indie dev or a solo founder building with AI? Three things. And the third one is the one you need to hear. First, model access on AWS is about to get very interesting. Bedrock is becoming a genuine multimodal platform. OpenAI's frontier models alongside Claude, alongside Amazon's own Nova. The competition for your inference dollar is real and it's happening on a single console. And that stateful runtime, you'd think it's just a fancy API wrapper. It turns out it solves one of the biggest pain points in building AI agents today, maintaining context across sessions. Right now, you're stitching together memory systems, managing conversations, state yourself, building your own persistence layer. A turnkey, stateful platform eliminates that plumbing. Second, a price war is coming. Amazon's entire pitch with Trainium chips is that they deliver cheaper inference than NVIDIA. When OpenAI models running on Trainium hit Bedrock, running GPT through Amazon is going to undercut running it through Microsoft. The structural incentive for lower prices is baked into the silicon. Third, and this is the dual landlord problem in full. Amazon now has major investments in both OpenAI and Anthropic. They provide the cloud infrastructure for both. They use both companies' models in their own consumer products. No matter which AI model you choose to build on, Claude or ChatGPT, Anthropic or OpenAI, you're building on Amazon's turf. They're the landlord on both sides of the street. And here's the detail that makes this even more interesting. The SEC filing reference a mutual NDA between Amazon and OpenAI dated May 2023. That's 3 years before this announcement and 4 months before Amazon made their first investment in Anthropic. You'd think Amazon picked one horse. Instead, they've been quietly setting up to own the stable. Here's what this means for your stack right now. Don't lock into a single provider. The pricing landscape is shifting as Amazon, Microsoft, and Google fight over your inference spend. Keep your architecture portable. Watch what actually ships, not what gets announced. The stateful runtime hasn't shipped yet. Frontier is still rolling out. The 15 billion lands this month. We're watching the foundation get poured. The building comes later. And understand the dual landlord problem. It's not inherently bad. AWS is excellent infrastructure, and competition between providers usually benefits developers. But you need to know whose floor you're standing on, especially when the same company sets the rent on both sides. That's what I track here at Drift Intel every week. The vendor changes that affect your stack, the fine print everyone else skips. If it's useful to you, the newsletter link is in the description. I'll see you in the next one.